Hey guys, I want to do a video today on productive ways to play with Stevie. My favorite thing to do with her is flirt pull, and I'm going to try tug of war in the video. I've never done tug of war with her, but I just kind of want to see how she feels about it. So, while she's kind of, no, we're not playing yet. Come on, go potty. While she's kind of sniffing around, maybe I'll start her out on place. I just want to preface this video with how I feel about toys and how I feel about play and how I feel about fetch and all that kind of stuff. You know, I would encourage you maybe to even go back and watch a couple of the videos that I sent you of Prime playing fetch, because I know we've gone over this before. I know it's very hard for you at least with Prime and the ball. She's challenging to control, but it will help your relationship and it'll help her state of mind. So there's one thing that toys do for dogs: put them in prey drive. This is why the pet industry makes so much money, because these animals are naturally high prey drive. This is who they are. Or not all of them, you know, excuse me. I shouldn't say they're all naturally high prey drive. They all naturally have a prey drive. But I've discussed with you before that prey drive is a stressful state of mind, especially if they're in it for too much during the day. It produces adrenaline. It gets them really overstimulated and over-aroused. And so I basically encourage all of my clients, unless their dog is under 5 months of age, I encourage all my clients to pick up every single toy, ball, and bone, anything that could put the dog in a prey drive state of mind, put it in a basket, and get it out of their line of sight. The number one reason why people use toys in a toy basket is so that dogs can entertain themselves. They say most people are constantly worried about boredom with their dogs. Oh my gosh, we need to make sure they have something to do all the time. Let's keep them stimulated all the time. I want them to have fun all the time. Well, really what you're doing, stop. Really what you're doing is you're basically teaching them to be in prey drive, to stay stimulated, and don't relax. Don't relax. Don't learn how to be calm and just be. I want you to stay on all the time, and I want you to utilize this every time you're bored instead of kind of coping with your boredom. Dogs get neurotic when they do this. You know, the more access they have to toys all day, the more neurotic they become, and the more adrenaline builds in the system, and then the more arousal kicks in. And this actually plays into long-term behavior. So when they have toys day in and day out, especially when there's no structure, when there's no rules, when there's no obedience tied into it, when there's no calmness tied into it, and they just have access to this kind of stuff all day long, this will start to play into their overall behavior in their life. These things that I'm mentioning, adrenaline, overstimulation, over-arousal, this is going to create an edgy dog. Place? So what ends up happening is dogs start to sometimes get really strange about certain people all of a sudden. Or all of a sudden they were scared of a noise. You know, a lot of people are like, oh my God, it came out of nowhere. All of a sudden, this person she knows, she started barking at them. Or, you know, I've never seen her get so scared before of thunder. Now all of a sudden she's scared of thunder. And, you know, there's lots of causes for that type of fear, and it's not always related to what I'm referring to. But in a lot of cases, what's happening, I even have a German Shepherd here right now, where I feel like what's happening with him is that he's so over-aroused and overstimulated all the time that there's a constant edginess to the guy. He's always kind of on edge. I'm sorry, not a German Shepherd. I'm getting this two mixed up. It's a pit mix. But there's always this nervousness and edginess to him, and it's because he's been in the wrong state of mind for too long, and now he's hypersensitive to the environment because all of these chemicals in his body, especially when they start to leave the body, create this kind of hypervigilant alertness. Place. I know, you're bored. That's why we're playing. Stop. No. Place. So, that's the reason why I don't like dogs to have constant access to toys. You know, and I feel like the both of you have like the best interest at heart with your dogs, but your perception is place. I'm not even clicking on this. Place, sit. You're gonna get some of this, by the way. She's pretty good on place, but she gets really squirrely and bouncy. She's a kind of bunny-like. But your perception, since I've met you, especially with Prime, is she needs to run, she needs to walk for hours a day, she needs to play with the ball, she needs to have access to toys, she needs to go to daycare, and you know, you're just creating this adrenaline junkie and this stamina monster. So if I focus more on mental, stop. If I focus more on mental, and I focus more on pack drive, and I focus more on creating relaxation and off switches and not being in a rush to get all this stuff done, but instead really taking my time and making sure the dog is tuning into me, listening to me, and not going out to the extreme and doing whatever they want, then they actually don't need as much to be fulfilled. You don't build stamina as much as you start to whittle away at the mental energy that they have, and that mental energy they have wears off quickly to the point where there's more fatigue, much faster, less adrenaline, which equals less edginess, a calmer dog, which means they're going to actually be more successful in situations like downtown, hiking, and other things. So this is kind of the idea behind it, and I wanted to kind of go into why I suggest this, because I wanted you to see my perspective. Now, what that means is I like purposeful play. So I take toys away because the last thing I want to do is keep my dogs in a state of mind that's predatory and adrenaline loading. And what I'd rather do is keep them in a calm state of mind until I'm ready to play. And then when I'm ready to play, it's purposeful, it's fun, it's engaging, we're doing it together. So I'm building relevance for myself. I'm creating a team with the dog, so we're a team. And then I become more important in the dog's eyes because instead of aimlessly playing with themselves or with each other for no reason at all, there's purpose, we're doing it together, she's following instruction, and she's having a blast. So what I'm going to encourage you guys to do, you got to do some stuff separately with Stevie. She needs to be an individual, she needs to be treated as an individual and not like it's her and Prime all together. The reason why I suggest this is because it's important that you guys build an independent relationship with Stevie, because she's, again, is an independent dog. She's her own individual. So she needs to see you guys with just you guys, and then Prime can be added back later. And even then, you should do things individually with them sometimes so that they can feel connected to you and not naturally drawn to each other, because they will. They're dogs, they speak their same language. So you can do this stuff with Prime that I'm about to show you. You can go watch the videos of the ball with Prime if you wanted to maybe make that more productive and less toxic. But with Stevie, this is her favorite thing on earth. It's a flirt pole. I've got a stick here with the leash and a squeaky toy tied to the end of it. And these are the rules of the game. So anytime I'm doing things like flirt pole or tug, fetch is a little bit different. That's why I'm telling you to go reference that video again, because fetch is different. This is if you're going to be doing a little more interactive stuff where you're working together, like tug or flirt pole. So I'm going to put her on place, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to present this to her. Nope, no. And she doesn't get a break place until I tell her. Place? So she really gets excited about this. So it's important that we're building impulse control into play. Dogs learn from each other through play. So I'm utilizing this to teach her rules, boundaries, limitations, impulse control, teamwork, all of it. So I want to make sure I present the toy so that she understands that she doesn't get off place until I've given her permission. Then I wait for eye contact. And when I get it, got a distraction now. And when I get it, I'm going to release her. Go get it. And then this toy is so much fun. I'm just going to utilize it to get her to chase it. And she loves it. Where are you? She's really fast. Right? So I make it challenging for her. I make her have to chase it, and then she gets it. I let her celebrate. Sometimes I'll play tug with her. Get it. Get it. Let her have a moment. And by the way, when you're doing this activity with her, you got to make sure to pull her bangs back because she can't see where the toy is whatsoever if you don't have her hair pulled back. Right? And then once she has her fun, I say, all right, out. I'm tapping my e-collar right now. Out. Leave it. Here. Place. So out means drop it from your mouth. Leave it means leave it alone. I use leave it for more than just toys. I use it for a lot of stuff. It's a great command, so it's a good thing to practice. And then let's go is move with me and place. So maybe you say drop it, that's fine. You can use your own word, but I say out is drop it from your mouth, leave it is leave it alone. Let's go is move with me, and place is, well, you guys know place. Now, this is really fun. And it's fun to see her having such a blast. But this part I'm doing right now on place is actually more important than anything else in terms of play. Prime could really benefit from this. This is the self-soothing process of my play. So again, dogs learn through play. They play with each other. So it makes a lot of sense to me that utilizing play in my training to teach things resonates well with them. So the one thing I see across the board with most of the dogs that come here is they have zero ability to self-soothe. They can't calm themselves down very well, especially once they pass a certain point of stimulation. They really have a hard time winding down from that. And oftentimes the only way they do is by crashing, you know? And I know this is how it used to be with I don't know if it's still like this, but Prime in the tennis ball, you know, that's kind of how it sounds to me. Is she doesn't have any ability to control herself, to listen. You know, it's an adrenaline junkie activity, and the only reason why she gets fatigued at all is because the adrenaline builds so high that she crashes. So this isn't a very comfortable way of releasing energy, and then when they come down from it, it feels like shit. So if you could ever imagine yourself coming off of an adrenaline rush, you know, the higher the adrenaline rush, the harder the come down. So the tennis ball with Prime is very up there on the scale of heightened intensity. So the come down off of that is going to produce a lot of edginess. You're going to see the pupils dilated, you know, not really wanting to be touched or just being kind of uncomfortable in general in their body. So this technique, the self-soothing part, is so that we make sure that they're winding down between each activity. And this wind down is extremely important because it's going to teach her how to self-soothe herself when she gets in a heightened state of mind. This brings her to a 10. You know, this gets her so revved up. She absolutely loves it. But if I keep her revved up, I'm actually not doing anything for her or myself. So this part is all about, hey, I know this takes you to a 10, but you are capable of going right back down to a 1 on the scale of 1 to 10 from excitement. You know, you can calm all the way down. And so what this sets her up for in the future is, oh, I can feel that state of arousal kicking in, but I now have the skills to soothe myself and calm myself back down. You know, a lot of dogs don't know how to do that. You have to teach it. Some dogs come with it naturally, but you have to teach it. And so it really becomes very aggravating for the dog over time, and this is where a lot of the times aggression and stuff forms. It'll never form with her. This dog is not aggressive in 1, fat, or prime. They're not aggressive. But that is how this is one of the reasons why aggression is formed. Is because the dog is in a state of mind all the time. They cannot calm themselves down from it. They're aroused too long. And so they snap. You can release a lot of energy through a bite. So they're like, I can't get rid of this energy. I don't know what to do with it. It keeps building. I'm building stamina for it. I'm just gonna bite, and then I can release all that energy and finally get some sleep. You know? So we're not gonna have to worry about biting with this one, but you know, it doesn't. Even the best dogs in the world benefit from learning this technique. You know, I think humans would benefit from it too. Humans don't know how to calm themselves down and meditate and chill either. But the art of being is perhaps one of the most beneficial states of mind any species could learn. And so it would be very important for, in my opinion, for her to learn that. And this is one of the ways that you can do it. So I'm talking to the camera, so you know we're not doing as much. You know, she was laying down really nicely. But basically what I'm looking for from her is, I don't want to see her anticipating and jumping and lurching forward like that. That's not her. She hasn't soothed herself far enough down the excitement ladder to reward that with another flirt pull. Right? I'd rather see this. This is my favorite. Laying down, on her side, panting, air scenting because she's just having a good time, not fixated on the toy, not anticipating, not trying to bound off place. So this is a good indication that she soothed herself. So now that she has, we're going to play again. I'm going to wait for eye contact. Get it. Good girl. You almost got it. Woo! Goodness gracious, you're fast. You go, girl. You go. You can't even hear it in her breathing. You know, she's worked up. She's having fun, but she's worked up. Good job. Good job. Yeah. Okay, out. Good. Let's go. Come here. Let's go. Please. Good job, Stevie. There you go. You can see, you can see it. Heavy breathing. When she gets really excited, she kind of pitter-patters her feet. She kind of bunny hops. You know, these are all indications of very heightened arousal. And I realize that dogs need to have fun and they need to get their prey drive on and they need to have these types of activities. But doing it in a format like this only benefits you and it only benefits her. If I were to just sit here and without this extra added piece with the place and the calming down and the obedience, this would just be an adrenaline junkie activity. She wouldn't actually feel tired or satiated from it. What she would feel is crash, and then she would sleep, and then there would be discomfort because the adrenaline's going to be leaving the system at a much more heightened state than setting it up this way. And then the lack of mindfulness doesn't create nearly as much fatigue, you know? Mindless play, I don't find benefits anyone. So, you know, and then adding toys for no reason just so that they can be in prey drive and occupy themselves, I feel like creates unwanted behaviors, because you're just putting a dog in a state of mind that's basically asking them to be predators instead of pets. And most people call me because they're tired of their dogs being predators. And I know she's super easygoing and stuff, but you know, I know you guys seem to struggle a little bit more with Prime, but she's eventually going to start taking on characteristics of Prime. That's just natural pack mentality stuff. So this is for both dogs, you know. Not putting them in situations where they're going to be building stamina and adrenaline and unwanted chemicals just so that we can fulfill boredom is not as important as, you know, using a crate and to create more downtime and sleep, and using a place board to start teaching them how to be. Just be. You don't need to be doing something all the time. The art of being is highly underrated. You know, most people even feel like they have to constantly be interacting with their dogs when they're at home. And I can be the first to tell you that half the time what dogs would really like to do is just lay around and sleep and be left alone. They're still with you. They're still socializing with you. They're still happy. They're still pleased to be in your presence. And they're probably going to be more relieved to not have to stay stimulated all the time. And I don't know if you guys do this. I'm not trying to say that you guys do this all day long. I'm just kind of giving you an idea of into my brain and how I view dogs, because I see constant interaction and constantly stimulating your dog to be more problematic for a dog than a dog whose world is smaller and has less going on. They're oftentimes less stressed. A dog is getting more sleep, who has more rules, boundaries, and limitations, who has, you know, a strict routine, whose owners are consistent and not confusing. You know, keeping them under arousal, keeping them in pack drive more. These are all things that benefit a dog to be that pet we're looking for, more than keeping them stimulated. All right, so now I'm going to try tug. I haven't tried this with her yet. She seems to like to tug she seems to like to tug the flirt pole toy, so I'm hoping that this is going to be fun for her. But to just give you kind of an idea of, you know, I know the flirt pole is probably not something you can do at home, since you guys don't have a yard. And maybe you can do it in your living room, but it could even mess up your wood floors, honestly. So the tug might be something you can pull off like inside, and then maybe if you ended up investing in a flirt pole, which, you know, Prime might like the flirt pole too. She's got a really high prey drive. She might enjoy that. You know, is taking her to a field or a park or even a parking lot near your house, bringing your place board and your flirt pole and setting up a training session like that there. I do end up showing people how to integrate two dogs together. So like another place board would be here and Prime would be on it, and I'd be alternating dogs. So Stevie would chase the flirt pole while Prime stayed on place, and then I'd put Stevie on place and invite Prime to chase the flirt pole. I do teach people how to do that, and in the end it becomes less time consuming because you're tiring both dogs out at once instead of rotating them. So if that's something you're interested in, if you like these things that I'm showing you, this is a really, really productive way of relationship building and also burning off mental energy and physical. So I'm gonna wait for eye contact. You're doing great, sweetheart. You're just a sweetie pie. You wanna get it? You wanna get it? What do you think of it? What do you think? You like it? Oh my gosh, she's so playful. This dog is really fun. She's got a great set of drives. She's willing to walk and heel and loves it, and then she's also willing to get out here and get tenacious with some toys, Yeah, get it. Get it. Get it. Yeah. Oh my gosh, you won. You're so strong. You're so strong. Come on, get it. Get the toy. Good girl. So you can play tug, you can let her run around and dink around with it. Yeah. 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 Get it. Good job. And then it's just going to be the same thing. Out. Good. Place. Good job, Stevie. You're awesome. You're awesome. Now, one of the things I kind of want to discuss in this video, especially if you start to do this type of stuff with Prime, you know, is how to get the toys and stuff away from them. I'm saying out. The e-collar is highly effective. Let's see how much time we've been going. All right. But you can actually make dogs, you know, more inclined to want to go after the toy or stick to it or clench onto it if you make it a competition versus making them out the toy. So, come here, get it. If I want to get the toy away from the dog, I'm not going to start pulling harder. Like, give it to me. Because what's going to happen is I pull it away from her and now she thinks we're playing and she needs to go for it harder. So when people do this kind of stuff and be like, oh, and then they hold it up high, this is what you get. You don't have a dog who's mentally let go of the toy. You have a dog who's going to keep trying to get the toy because you took it from them by force. Now, what I do is I hold my arm very limp and I don't add any pressure at all. The dog might, but I don't. I try not to pull, tug, yank, or jerk. I just lay limp. And actually, this is what happens a lot of the times. The dog's like, well, you're not any fun, so I'm just going to give it to you. And that's kind of the whole point, is I want you to psychologically give me the toy and we're not playing anymore. I'll let you know when we'll play again. Get it. Get it. Now, if you want to out her, you're going to stay limp. Get it. And then you're going to say, out. Good. See how she, and that's so she gave me space. Do you see the difference? So when I did this, she's like bounding and jumping and nipping for the toy. I say out, she gives me space. This is psychological control. Play. 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 And it's not just psychological control, it's respect. The dog is giving you the toy and they're saying, okay, well, we've gone over this. You've made it clear that by not yanking and tugging and pulling that we're not competing or playing anymore. So I'm going to give you this toy and I'll wait for my next direction. So if you were using the ball, you know, it would be that you would hold it. Like if you couldn't get it out of Prime's mouth for some reason, you would hold it. But you're not going to pull, tug, yank, jerk, or otherwise. You're just going to hold it, say out with your e-collar. She should know that command. And maybe you don't have this issue, but say out, and then she needs to remove herself. So if you say out and she drops it and she tries to go for it again, then you're going to say leave it. And you're going to keep saying leave it on your e-collar until she leaves it. She actually leaves it. And then put her on place. So I just want to make sure I went over that because, like I said, that type of stuff can backfire if it's not done appropriately, and you can get a dog that actually even can resource guard eventually because they're getting so agitated by the human forcefully taking it from them. Anyway, that's my spiel on purposeful play and why I think it's important to practice purposeful play, but also to eliminate activities in a dog's life that don't bring them any purpose and that just put them in a state of mind that's creating that predator in them and not the pet. So I hope this resonated well with you, and I hope this is so much fun, so I hope that you give it a try.